Hi Frog Room and Frog Room friends. I'm Teacher Brady and I have a story for today. I have A House for Hermit Crab. That is the title of the book. And this book is by Eric Carle. Eric Carle is the author of the book and Eric Carle is the illustrator of the book. What does the author do? The author writes the words, the author writes the words. Hi-ho, the dairy-o, the author writes the words. What does the illustrator do? Eric Carle is also the illustrator. The illustrator draws, the illustrator draws. Hi-ho, the dairy-o, the illustrator draws. Very good. Do you remember what this is called? This is the cover of the book. And on the cover of the book we have the front of the book, the back of the book, and do you remember? The spine of the book. Very good. So the story, A House for Hermit Crab. What kind of house do you think a hermit crab has? Do you want to take a guess? Do you think it's a house like this? Do you think he lives in a pineapple under the sea? No. But let's take a look. I'm excited. So I'm going to open the cover. Oh, it's a big book. I need longer arms. That's beautiful. Looks like finger paint. You try that at school. Here's a little information about our hermit crab. Hermit crabs live on the ocean floor. Their skin is hard, except for the abdomen, which is soft. Where's your abdomen? This is our abdomen. To protect this soft spot, the hermit crab borrows a shell and makes this its house. Oh, so what is the house? The shell. Cool. Then only its face, feet, and claws stick out from the shell. That way it can see, walk, and catch its food. When a hermit crab is threatened, it withdraws into its shell until the danger has passed. What does threatened mean? Maybe when the hermit crab feels scared, when something comes by, it makes it feel frightened, it goes back into its shell. Okay? I have a cat behind my head. That's Daryl. A House for Hermit Crab. I like this book. This book talks about months of the year. It talks about different sea creatures. And it talks about decorating a house. Those are some of my favorite things. See if you can listen. Time to move, said Hermit Crab one day in January. I've grown too big for this little shell. He had felt safe and snug in his shell, but now it was too snug. Hermit Crab stepped out of the shell and onto the floor of the ocean. But it was frightening out in the open sea without a shell to hide in. What if a big fish comes along and attacks me? He thought. I must find a new house soon. It sounds scary out there without a shell. Early in February, Hermit Crab found just the house he was looking for. It was a big shell and strong. He moved right in, wiggling and waggling about inside it to see how it felt. It felt just right. But it looked so plain, thought Hermit Crab. All right. In March, Hermit Crab met some sea anemones. They swayed gently back and forth in the water. How beautiful you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and live on my house? It is so plain, it needs you. I'll come, whispered a small sea anemone. Gently, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his shell. In April, is April another month? We've heard January, February, March, April. Hermit Crab passed a flock of starfish moving slowly along the seafloor. How handsome you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to decorate my house? I would, signaled a little sea star. Carefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his house. Book is so big. It's a big, big book. In May, Hermit Crab discovered some coral. They were hard and didn't move. How pretty you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to help make my house more beautiful? I would, creaked a crusty coral. Gingerly, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. I think I have a cat hair in my nose. In June, Hermit Crab came to a group of snails crawling over a rock on the ocean floor. They grazed as they went, picking up algae and bits of debris and leaving a neat path behind them. How tidy and hard-working you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to come and help me clean my house? I would, offered one of the snails. Happily, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. Look how beautiful the shell is becoming. What do we have here? We have the starfish. We have the snail. This one was a hard one for me to say. We have a sea anemone. And we have our coral. How cool. In July, Hermit Crab came upon several sea urchins. They had sharp, prickly needles. How fierce you look, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to protect my house? I would, answered a spiky sea urchin. Gratefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it near his shell. Oh my. In August, Hermit Crab and his friends wandered into a forest of seaweed. It's so dark here, thought Hermit Crab. How dim it is, murmured the sea anemone. How gloomy it is, whispered the starfish. How murky it is, complained the coral. I can't see, said the snail. It's like nighttime, cried the sea urchin. Do they sound a little scared? It's dark. Are you nervous to go into the dark? In September, Hermit Crab spotted a school of lanternfish darting through the dark water. How bright you are, said Hermit Crab. Would one of you be willing to light up our house? I would, replied one lanternfish, and it swam over near the shell. Can you hear my cat? My cat wants to go outside, but my cat needs to wait a few minutes. In October, Hermit Crab approached a pile of smooth pebbles. How sturdy you are, said Hermit Crab. Would you mind if I rearranged you? Not at all, answered the pebbles. Hermit Crab picked them up one by one with his claw and built a wall around his shell. Now my house is perfect, cheered Hermit Crab. Oops. so dark. But in November, Hermit Crab felt that his shell seemed a bit too small. Little by little over the year, Hermit Crab had grown. Soon he would have to find another bigger home. But he had come to love his friends, the sea anemone, the starfish, the coral, the sea urchin, the snail, the lanternfish, and even the smooth pebbles. They have been so good to me, thought Hermit Crab. They are like a family. How can I ever leave them? In December, a smaller hermit crab passed by. I have outgrown my shell, she said. Would you know of a place for me? I have outgrown my house too, answered Hermit Crab. I must move on. You are welcome to live here, but you must promise to be good to my friends. I promise, said the little crab. The following January, Hermit Crab stepped out, and the little crab moved in. Couldn't stay in that little shell forever, said Hermit Crab as he waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wider than he had remembered, but Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied the perfect house, a big, empty shell. It looked, well, a little plain, but sponges, he thought, barnacles, clownfish, sand dollars, electric eels. Oh, there are so many possibilities. I can't wait to get started. So those are some other sea creatures he thought of to decorate his house. So, a house for Hermit Crab. I like to decorate my house. I don't know if you can see, but I have some plants decorating my house and some lights decorating my house. I have bright pillows on my sofa that I like to decorate my house. With holidays, sometimes we decorate. How do we decorate for Halloween? How do we decorate for Thanksgiving? Do you decorate for Christmas or for another holiday? Yeah, we have lots of different things that we might decorate for. Do you decorate for your birthday? What do you like to do? Do you decorate yourself? Sometimes I decorate myself with a headband, right? I decorate my cat with a collar. Yeah. Let's go over the months one time together. We heard about the first January when Hermit Crab grew out of his shell. So we'll start there. We'll start with January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. There are 12 months. Thank you for saying them with me. Good job. I'm very impressed. Well, that was a fun story, and I'll be happy to read with you again. See you later, guys.